This billionaire shifting towards Bitcoin is absolutely massive. But why is nobody talking about it? And is there potential that this billionaire could be more impactful for the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve than Michael Saylor? Whoa, 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 Brandon. Before I start going in and slowing my roll here and you guys start telling me that I'm crazy, let's dive into the billionaire Paulo Arduino and Tether and why they could be more influential for the Bitcoin space than maybe anybody else in the space this year in 2025. So what's the news? Tether is now bringing its stablecoin USDT back to Bitcoin. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, what is Tether? If you've never heard of it, it's probably the most profitable business model that there absolutely is right now, and it's the world's largest stablecoin. And now they are bringing Tether straight back to Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. So, earlier at the Plan B conference, Tether made the announcement that has been, quote, years in the making. USDT is now back on Bitcoin using Taproot assets. So the next steps will be for Tether to mint the asset, which will be available initially via Bitfinex. So Tether's return to Bitcoin ecosystem via the Taproot assets is not just a simple reentry. It's a strategic pivot that could herald a new era for both Bitcoin's Lightning Network and the broader stablecoin assets. Now, Tether is absolutely massive. So many people do not even understand the largeness of Tether and how big this company is. Let's dive into Paulo's tweet here, just strictly about Tether and some of their business model, because I think that you would find that it's absolutely shocking how big this stablecoin market is. So they released their attestation for Q4 of 2024. They had $13.7 billion worth of profit for the entire year, $6 billion of which, so nearly half, came in the last quarter of 2024. $113 billion in direct and indirect holdings. $7 billion of that is in excessive stablecoin reserves, which is increased by 36%. On the top of the 100% reserves, they have a 23 billion of USDT issued, and its proprietary equity has surged past 20 billion. So Tether coming to the Lightning Network is absolutely massive because of just how much money that is being flowed into these stable coins. Look, let's face it here. We all hope that Bitcoin adoption massively occurs very quickly. We hope that everything starts to become priced in sats. But let's face it, as it stands right now, countries in Latin America, Africa, even some European or Southeast Asian countries, it's easier to use stable coins opposed to using some sort of Bitcoin because of the volatility right now currently to the US dollar. Now, the USDT now coming to the Lightning Network is absolutely huge. And it's bringing massive amounts of volumes to the Lightning Network that we've never seen before. So it's a company's backed stablecoin, and it can help scale the Lightning Network dramatically, because a big issue with the Lightning Network is the liquidity profile for all of that. Now, with that going forward, Tether is very interesting company, not only because it's one of the more profitable business models, but because of its connections to the U.S. government and U.S. government holdings. So Tether, let's dive into here a little bit. Tether it said it would invest 15% of its net profit into Bitcoin to, quote, diversify the reserves back its USDT token. So the other interesting aspect of Tether is that it holds roughly 22 million based on its last attention repair that generates 1.48 billion in net profit. It's the world's largest stable coin. And on top of that, Tether now holds more treasury bonds than Germany and Australia. It is one of the leaders in the US treasury bonds. So that connection that we have here between the United States government, the amount that Tether is holding, and the amount of US treasuries that Tether is holding, and Tether's intertwining with Bitcoin, makes it very curious, especially with a dollar-backed stablecoin. Now, why is this curious? The reason I believe that this is interesting is because there's been rumors floating around. Hey, is Michael Saylor potentially and MicroStrategy potentially going to have the Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States? And how is that all going to work? Well, it almost seems like this is a proxy for the US backed Bitcoin strategic reserve with the dollar. I mean, we have a dollar-backed stablecoin. We have a company that is now holding Bitcoin on its balance sheet as part of its reserves and issuing more and more USDT. And then on top of that, now they have Bitcoin on the balance sheet and they've been holding that. So it seems very peculiar. It seems like it's almost an experiment that we've had here of Tether. Hey, how is this going to work? How is this going to look when it comes to a US backed or US Bitcoin strategic reserve? And is Tether either a proxy for that, or is Tether potentially lining everything up to potentially become the US strategic reserve? Now, the Tether issuer or the USDT issuer holding that massive amounts of Bitcoin is peculiar. And I think the amount of treasuries that that they've been holding or obtaining within this first half of the last year was absolutely insane. They've been just absolutely stacking it up. It's 5.2 billion in profits at this time last year, with a record high of holding 97.6 billion in US treasuries. So it's one of the largest holders of US treasuries in the world, and it's issued more than 8 billion of its of its treasuries. So Tether has issued that 8 billion and it's reported 5.2 billion in profit. So that 97.6 billion is as of, let's see, date of this article, July 31st of last year. So the direct and indirect holders would rank it as among the top countries in terms of treasury holdings. Now, there's a few different things I want to highlight here with Tether that I think are very interesting. Well, one is the overall market cap here. We've got a market cap of 139 billion with a B, now coming to the Lightning Network. So, that is just strictly in the market cap and how that looks. So the other thing I think is very intriguing is how this can affect Bitcoin, not only from an adoption standpoint, but from the price action. Everybody loves to talk about the Bitcoin price action, right? So if you look at this chart here, it's one of my favorites from Willy Woo, talking about the multiplier effect here. And if you look at the multiplier effect based on its market cap, I know it's kind of hard to see here, guys. Let me see if I can try to zoom in for you. Oh man, got to zoom out. See if I can zoom in up here a little bit. Either way, the amount of the multiplier effect, which is however many dollars are now going into the Bitcoin price, how much that affects the market cap, affects the overall price. It's 6 times. So the market cap of now Tether being at 140, almost 140 billion, sitting at just under that at 139, means 6 times of that would go towards the market cap of Bitcoin as well, which would obviously shoot up that market cap of Bitcoin massively. We would see extensive amounts of volume then going towards Bitcoin. And not only that, we would see extensive amounts of dollars just start to flow in. And the tying in there for Tether being one of the largest stable coins in the world to Bitcoin would be absolutely massive. But that doesn't mean Tether has been without any sort of controversy here. Tether has been, very controversial. People have been thinking that, there's the potential of the rug pull. There's been talks of Tether being intertwined with Bitcoin too closely, Tether being intertwined with the US government and other things as well. And so how stable are, quote, stable coins, right? If it's supposed to be a dollar backed stable coin, why are we sitting at 99.98 opposed to $1? There's a lot of questions surrounding Tether and the overall Tether market. But, either way, the connection to the United States government that Tether has because of the amount of US treasuries cannot be understated here. And I think it is also interesting that Tether has been cooperating a lot with the United States government in the past. They've even assisted in US government seizure of funds that were linked to a tech scam earlier last year, nearly a year ago, of approximately $1.4 million worth of Tether tokens from a tech support network. So Tether has been very intertwined with the US government. They're holding a ton of those US treasuries, and we're seeing this US national debt skyrocket by the minute. It, in fact, gets me a little bit nauseous, but I also think that it is a little interesting here that we have this Doge clock now on the usdebtclock.org, which is one of my favorite websites to look at and see all of these numbers, just kind of how they're ticking up. And I'm not going to lie to you. Last time I was on this, it did seem like the U.S. national debt clock was clicking up a little bit faster than I remember. So either way, I think that Tether being very intertwined with the U.S. government is something that we need to keep a very close eye on. Tether bringing its stablecoin back to the Lightning Network is absolutely massive, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. I don't think a lot of people are talking about, hey, this is now nearly $834 billion worth, according to that market cap, with the Bitcoin multiplier effect made famous by Willy Woo. That's all coming towards Bitcoin. The daily volume of Tether is astronomical. And let me actually look that up for you here. So we can really just start to talk into how much they're actually using. So according to this quick Google search here at CoinMarketCap, it says the 24-hour volume of Tether is $83 billion. So now we have $83 billion worth of transactions going back and forth and being moved to that Lightning Network, which we didn't see before. And so that is all just moving there extremely quickly. It's been something that has been, I guess, being built in the background for a while. And the billionaire Paulo Arduino, who has a company, I believe, of like 8 people over at Tether, is now going all in on Bitcoin. It's been interesting to see this journey of Tether because Tether has been moved away. It went to the Tron network and a bunch of different other avenues, but now it seems to really be embracing that decentralized nature. Paulo has been working on a bunch of different projects back and forth, but the daily volume and the amount of volume that you see on Tether is something that we can't really take for granted here. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Are we sure Tether using the Lightning Network is a good thing? I'm neutral about this at best. Broken Ruler, friend of the program. The reason I say it's a positive is because it brings more towards Bitcoin. It brings more volume. It brings more money. It's going to bring more liquidity to that Lightning Network. And so that's the reason why I think that it's going to be a positive. We're going to see more and more people come towards Bitcoin. Tether has always been associated with Bitcoin, whether we like it or not. They've been holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet for quite some time. So I think that Tether coming to the Bitcoin network is a positive thing. So BK said, what number am I thinking of? LOL. We got another BK in the chat. I'm Brandon Keys, and then we got BK up here. I appreciate you coming in. Lightning Bit 12 changes the game for instant and secure payments using the same QR code as saying Satwise Jank says, and I agree with you, Satwise. I think it's I think that Bit 12 or Bolt 12, excuse me, is very bullish for Bitcoin payments. I also think Tether coming to the Bitcoin network is also bullish for payments. For those like we said, or like I said a little bit earlier, it's still, for a lot of people, it is still difficult in order to hold Bitcoin long term. A lot of people want to still hold stable coins opposed to holding Bitcoin. Now, for example, in El Salvador, they're rescinding a lot of their laws to utilize Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, or forcing businesses in order to accept it. Why have they been doing that? Well, it's because of because of the volatility. A lot of people cannot handle that short-term volatility for the moves ups and down. And let's dive into that volatility. We're seeing Bitcoin crash, to 101,000 this weekend. And be down by 1% in that day. So some people need that money and can't afford to lose 4% of their purchasing power within a week. But obviously the savings technology that Bitcoin is allows you to continue to see that your purchasing power increase over time. It's just unfortunate. A lot of people cannot, weather this volatility and don't realize the true power of Bitcoin. And part of the things that I think that is true power of Bitcoin is being able to hold your own keys, and in a sense, continue to be your own bank, not necessarily need that third party. And so part of that is by holding Bitcoin in self custody. The best way to do that and purchase Bitcoin and continue to stack, I think, is the Bitcoin Well. You can go to the bitcoinwell.com/green candle. You can sign up here. They've got a wishing well for you where you can flick coins in the wishing well after you buy. You get a certain amount of Bitcoin Well points, and you have the chance to win 1 million sats. At this current Bitcoin price, that's over $1,000. They're just tossing it around for you. So sign up today, get some wishing well points, and buy yourself some Bitcoin. Now, if you really want to buy a large purchase, you're looking at this 101,000 and it's looking juicy for you, you could go to their OTC desk here. And you can go sign up for Bitcoin or their Bitcoin Well Infinite. You could access the Infinite account by clicking this here. And you can set an appointment where they will have the best white glove service in order for you to make big, large purchases of Bitcoin. They're literally working around the clock here Monday to Friday. So you can click on there and set yourself an appointment for whenever they're ready. And you guys can get a pic of my schedule and everything else going on there as well. And so I think, even though we're talking about Tether and USDT being brought to the Bitcoin Lightning Network, a true power of Bitcoin is truly being able to hold your own keys and go through that way. And I always believe Bitcoin's the best savings technology that there absolutely is. You guys should should be very bullish that big companies such as Tether are coming onto the Bitcoin network and really looking at Bitcoin as a possibility here going forward, and realizing, hey, we were maybe wrong about Bitcoin at some point in time, but we're coming back with a vengeance. So thank you guys all for joining me. Smash that like button like Cheech and Chong, as my boy All Nighter Hider always says, and give us a like, give us a subscription. Tell me how you feel in the comments. And yeah, do you guys agree with me? Yes or no? Is Tether very bullish? Tether coming to Bitcoin very bullish for Bitcoin? I personally think it is. So tell me why I'm wrong, or tell me why you agree with me. All right. Thanks so much, guys. And I will see you all at the next one.